You might not know it yet, but you just could be making the biggest mistake in golf. But the good news is, by the end of this video, you're going to know how to fix it. So it can be a funny one because I think most golfers make this one mistake in their golf swing and it can lead to so many different faults that can be caused. And even though you might be very consistent with how you deliver the club poorly, you actually could be making the same mistake that your golfing pals who hit very different shots could be making as well. And like I said, by the end of today, you're going to understand what you're doing, and most importantly, how you're going to fix it. But just before we get into that, if you're new down to my channel, welcome down to Ali Taylor Golf. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you do enjoy the video and you don't currently subscribe, I'd love you just take a second to click the subscribe button below, ring the notification bell, and then you'll find out whenever I drop a new video. But for now, let's get on with fixing the biggest fault in golf. Right, so I'm going to hit a couple of shots to begin with, and they're going to be very different shape of shots and contact. And just as I'm hitting the shots, I want you to play along here and give me a little thumbs up in the comment when you see the shot that you hit. But I'm actually going to make the same fault with every single swing. And I'm going to explain why it leads to so many different deliveries. So let's go with maybe one of the most common ones I see to begin with. So we see that one bending out to the right. I've only got a 7-iron in my hand, so not massively exaggerated, but that would certainly have curved much more left to right with something with less loft, something with a longer shaft. But I'm doing this with a 7-iron because I want you, when you practice, maybe not to go into some of the more challenging clubs to begin with, so you can get this movement right with this club and then integrate it into all of the clubs. So that's your left to right, maybe a bit of a slicey one. Here's another one. This one might be a bit more of my bad shot. That one curving round to the left quite badly. Then we have the one that goes really hung back on that one, and even though that's bending out to the right, it's gone very high and not very far. And even with that, you can then end up that little toppy one that rolls along the floor. That was that bad that TrackMan didn't pick that one up. But you can see there, guys, I've got poor contact, I've got poor distance, and I've got no control on where the golf ball's going. So be honest, how many of you can agree with those statements? Probably a few of you. And certainly I would say me sometimes, and certainly when my swing gets away from what I need to be doing, this is what I fall into. Now, I know it's very easy to say, right, well, it's very different what you're doing with your golf swing for a slice or a hook or that weak one. Yes, the delivery is different, but the little fault I made on all of them actually started in the initial part of my takeaway, and I'll show you what I mean. So from a reasonable address position, what you see with a lot of golfers is as they move the club away, the club face starts rotating a lot. So as they get into that almost halfway back position, for a lot of golfers, you see the body's hardly turned, the hands and wrists have really got that club face rotating, and already you can see that leading edge is pointing back behind me. So then the danger from there, you can still get to the top into a reasonable position, but that club face is very open. So what we need to do then is, we know the ball's going to go to the right, so golfers will either swing out to in, get the club working much more left, which gives that slice. If you're like me, that club face is open, you tend to rotate the hands lots and lots, no real body rotation through the bottom, just all hands and arms. And you can play some good golf like that. As a kid, I played a lot of golf like that and played very well, but I was playing all the time and it was really down to timing. You then get that golfer that from being wide open at the top, they hang back and it gives them a chance to try and square the club up more this way. That club face is pointing straight, but you see lots of loft and no power. So if we can get you using that club better and taking maybe the hands and wrists and forearms out of the initial part, we don't have to rely on this timing. Now, for anyone who watches my videos though, and a lot of you have commented on this, you will notice, and it's very ingrained with me, that as I set up to the golf ball, I have that waggle. And I hate that waggle because it's exactly what I'm talking about not doing. Now, in my defense, might give my age away here, but kind of early 90s, a lot of coaching was very much about from here, trying to get halfway back with that leading edge of the club straight up and then trying to get through the same. Now, I think that led a lot of hands and timing involved, whereas nowadays we'd be looking for much more halfway back, that leading edge to be very much the same as my spine angle. And I think if that club face is nice and neutral, a great way of feeling it is if you cross your club across your chest, get the leading edge at the same as your spine angle and lean forward. If you then turn back and turn through, you can see that club face would point straight towards target. And the beauty with it is you get a really good feeling as to where your lower body and upper body could be at impact. And that would be a lovely, powerful position with no need to manipulate the club face. And I think very often that's a great little way of feeling how your body would turn to hit the shot. So what we need to do then is look at that initial part of the takeaway. So once we get here, all we're really looking to do is the relationship you've got between your hands, arms and club. All we're looking to do from here is just turn your shoulders and upper body, allow your hips to move a bit, halfway back. And if I do that down the line, you will see that club face is in a beautiful position. And then all you need to do from there is just allow that trail arm to fold. And that gets you into a nice strong position at the top that you can then swing down and really hit a very powerful little draw. And I'd take that all day long. Now, one of the comments I get a lot with golfers, I'm just going to clarify this, is kind of when you should hinge your wrists and fold that trail arm. And I think the danger for a lot of golfers is because they're so keen to get folding that arm quite early and hinging the wrists, it's very easy to get that club face opening up. And like I said, you can still hit some very good shots. I mean, if I were to do that, I can see there, it's not a massively different shot to the one I've just hit, just curving very softly to the left. But I really feel when I do that as I'm coming down, my body stops and my hands then hit the shot. So if my hands are a bit late, I leave one way right. Again, if you watch my videos, I've got that one in the locker. And if the hands get too active, I miss to the left. So I think if you can really try and keep your hands out of that takeaway, so from there, just turn the upper body back. You've got lots and lots of width. The club face is in a nice neutral position. Then the arm can fold. And then from there, you can just turn out the way. And it also improves, instead of being a little bit of what I spoke about in yesterday's video, instead of being very narrow to wide in the downswing, you go from being wide to slightly narrowing. And again, that gives that much more powerful impact position. So even for me as a golfer, definitely something I need to work on is improving this in my golf swing. But I even think instead of my waggle being that, if my waggle were more that, a little bit like you see Justin Thomas with a very deliberate, I mean, Justin, I would say, does get it a little bit more this way. But if you were there, practice that little takeaway as your waggle. That feels very wide and very strong with the club face. Even for me, that actually still feels a little bit closed. And my concern over the years has always been, when I feel a little bit closed, am I going to hit it more left? Thing is, if I get there and good at the top, I can just turn my body as much as I want out of the way. I might still draw the ball, but I'm not going to miss left. So I can set up nice and wide and neutral. Really struck that well. I've aimed straight, so that's where that one just curves to the left. But then if I'm very consistent with my shape, you can then start aiming for the shot you're trying to play. So if I just aim a little further right, again, see, instantly there, wanted to do that. So wide and neutral with the club face. Strike felt absolutely awesome. There it is, just bending back to target. And like I said, I just see so many golfers get that club face rotating, and then they either get round their body and lift, or they're hugely open, turn to the top, and then it's some way of trying to get that club face back on the ball. The less moving parts we can have in your golf swing, the more good shots you're going to hit and the more consistently you're going to hit them. So you can see, guys, there, it's just really not using those hands too early in the backswing, in that takeaway, because as soon as you get the hands involved, we're either going to see compensations with the hands in the downswing, or we're going to see you try to change what you do with your path, and it just leads to so many bad shots, doesn't it? Tops, thins, hooks, slices, you name it, it's in there. But if you can work on what I've just shown you in the video there, you're going to take those hands out of the swing a little bit more. It's going to give you a much more consistent shot. Might not give you the exact shot you want just at the moment, but it's going to be much more playable. You're going to enjoy your golf, and your playing partner's going to enjoy it because we're not going to be looking for your golf balls nearly as much. But nice and simple. Nothing's easy because it does take practice and it takes a bit of time to get used to. But if you get good with that and take your hands out, you can have a much more consistently good golf swing. So guys, hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, like it and share it. Comment below and I'll get back to as many people as I can. If you've enjoyed the video today and you don't currently subscribe, I'd love you to hit the button below, ring the little bell, and then you'll find out whenever I drop a new video. Follow me on all my social media platforms, all under Ali Taylor Golf. Hopefully catch up with some of you guys down here soon. Stay in contact.